I'd like to introduce myself. I am Francine Rolling, and I'm going to be the IT person for you tonight. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you Karen Beckley and Jennifer Kelly, two Shackley business leaders, but most importantly, parents and teachers who are going to be sharing some information with you about the first 1,000 days of a child's life and how those days affect the whole rest of the child's life. So take it away, Karen.
All right, wonderful. Well, we're so happy to have all of you on tonight. We have a lot of information to cover. And so if you have a pen and pad of paper next to you, we encourage you to take some copious notes. And we also realize, too, that you may be tuning in for yourself or someone you know for the various stages we're going to cover. We're actually going to cover in 2 stages tonight. The first half of our talk will be about preconception and prenatal nutrition and health. And then we're going to transition into infant and toddler nutrition. So as Francine mentioned, I am a teacher. I teach 5th grade full time, but I'm also a Shackley wellness advocate. I have been for about 2 years now. And you're going to hear tonight why I'm so grateful for this company and its products. But this is my amazing family, my husband, Casey, our oldest daughter, Rosa, who we adopted from Kenya, and then my daughter, Esme, who is 6.5, and my son, Silas, who is 4. We have selected this topic because Barb mentioned a little bit earlier that the World Health Organization and UNICEF and global organizations around the world have identified this window of preconception to the age of 2 as the first 1,000 days of a child's life. But the importance of it, because it really does set up the child for a lifetime of wellness if we're intentional about it. And so this time period really focuses on developing their ability to learn and grow.
Great.
Jen's going to introduce herself.
Yeah. There's Jen.
Oh, yes. My name is Jen Kelly, and I am also a full-time teacher. I'm currently on maternity leave right now. I had little baby Josephine in May, and so I'll be returning to work in 2 weeks. So I'm going to make sure that I spend these next couple of weeks focusing on the baby. That's my husband, John, and he's a 4th, and then my son, Johnny, 5. So there's our happy little family on the beach down here in South St. Pete. I'm also a Shackley Wellness business owner for the last 2.5 years. So Karen and I, we've been in the business for about the same amount of time. And so we're here to share with you and excited to share with you about the first 1,000 days.
Awesome.
Yeah. So up on the screen, you'll see just where we're going to focus tonight, focusing on improving nutrition for mothers and fathers and children in the 1,000-day window. So this is that time period. You have your time in utero, which is 270 days, and then 180 days from birth until 6 months. And then finally, you have the 6 months to age 2, which is 550 days. So that's how we get to that first 1,000 days. Leading scientists, economists, and health experts. We'll go back to that slide, Francine.
We will, yes. I get so excited.
Nutrition during the critical 1,000-day window is one of the best investments we can make. And there's just a lot of research that comes out of the first 1,000 days and the research done with it, and just some really positive things I wanted to share. Children are 10 times more likely to overcome life-threatening childhood diseases. Children who get the right nutrition in the first 1,000 days complete 4.6 more grades of school. And what I really love is just focusing on nutrition in those first 1,000 days will be more likely that our children will be, as adults, live healthier lives and have healthier families and instill this in their lives as well. So I think that this is such an important topic tonight. And the chance that we have to be able to share this with you, we're excited about that.
Absolutely. Karen, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I was just going to say, if you go ahead and click to the next slide, I was going to ask for major props for putting a photo of myself at 38 weeks on the screen. But I identify pregnancy as a gift. I really do believe that. And I've been blessed to be able to carry 2 children of my own biologically. My youngest, Silas, who you saw in that beginning photo, is here as a baby. And if you did the math and looked at his weight, you'll see that he was 1 ounce away from being a 10-pound baby. So he's large and in charge, as you can see in that photo. But I want to share with you briefly my pregnancy experience, and Jen's going to share hers after mine, because my pregnancy was without Shackley. And I wasn't introduced to Shackley until Silas was about 2.5 years old. So my pregnancy, to be completely honest, both of my pregnancies, I feel like I had pretty healthy pregnancies. But I did have a list of things that doctors would probably want to monitor. So the first one was I was just considered high risk to begin with. I had a blood clot at the age of 27 in my shoulder, and they believed that it was caused from the birth control pill that I was taking. And so because of that, I automatically was of concern to get pregnant just because of the hormones that are in a birth control pill. So I was monitored closely. And it wasn't for about 7 years after that when I did get pregnant with my first child. I was considered geriatric by the doctor, and my OB constantly informed me and reminded me at every appointment that I was a geriatric pregnancy. I'm not sure why she had to use that term every time, but being over 35, they like to tell you that. So again, put me in the high risk category. I experienced carpal tunnel with both of my pregnancies, and actually, I'm sure there are a lot of women out there who have experienced that. That I have my mom to thank for that. But it's extremely annoying, to be completely honest. I was working full time as a teacher, and the pain and discomfort I experienced from that, and having to grade papers and whatever. I mean, you just don't realize how much you write until you experience things like that. And then I also was diagnosed with gestational diabetes with both of my pregnancies, actually. And so that one was a very serious issue that I took very seriously.
Christian wanted you.
And so I had to make sure that I had a restricted diet, that I had healthy weight gain, and I really, really focused on my nutrition during my pregnancy as well. So with all of that being said, it still led to a 10-pound baby. And it eventually led me to Shackley, because once I had Silas, I had never felt as horrible as I had ever felt. I experienced brain fog, anxiety. I was really having a hard time losing the baby weight that I had gained. And I had hit a low when it came to my health and my nutrition and wellness. And so that is part of my story. And I actually found relief. At 40 years old, I've never felt better. And I have 2 beautiful biological children to show for that. So Jen's going to share her story. Her experience was a little different than mine.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Karen.
Karen, you look lovely in that photo, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure I was feeling my best.
Jen, go ahead and share your story, and we will get your slide up shortly.
So I have 2 very different pregnancies. My first pregnancy was in 2014 with my son, Johnny. And then my second just being this past May with my daughter, Josephine. My first pregnancy, in both pregnancies, I was very active. I played college sports. I remained active in life after sports and after college rather. But I still had a pretty hard first pregnancy. And it definitely wasn't something that I was expecting. I was like, oh, I'm athletic, I'm in shape, I eat healthy. This is going to be a breeze, right? But it wasn't. The first 12 weeks hit me hard. I had morning sickness, which I had the rare kind that happened. So after dinner every night, I knew it was going to happen. I had onset carpal tunnel. Karen had mentioned this, that she had this as well. And it was just something that I had to research. I didn't even know that it was a thing, that it could happen. But I had so much swelling in my wrists at night. When I woke up, there was a little bit more relief, but I actually had to purchase wrist braces.
Wow.
To use at night because I had so much swelling, and it was just something that I wasn't prepared for. And at the time, Shackley wasn't in my life. I didn't know that there were supplements out there for that. I didn't know how to relieve the pain. And then you spend hours and hours researching what naturally could I use, what's going to be safe for the baby, what's going to be safe for the mom. So that was really tough. And then at 34 weeks, I had what I referred to as Fiona feet. I couldn't even fit my feet into my shoes. I was wearing flip-flops. I was teaching at the time full time, and Johnny was full term plus 2 days. So he was an 8-pound baby, and it was a pregnancy that I wouldn't say was, in relationship to some, it wasn't the most difficult, but it was certainly one that I wasn't expecting. So with Shackley now, with my second pregnancy, I was also a geriatric pregnancy. So I was 35 when I was pregnant with Josie. And it was just a whirlwind of difference. I can't even, it's one of those things where you really hope that it's different, and you really want it to be different. And you're taking these amazing vitamins, and you're prepared mentally and you're prepared physically for having a second child. Let me also mention in my first pregnancy too, I was taking an off-the-shelf prenatal. It was one that I thought was safe. It was one that I had researched. It was one that I bought at a Whole Foods store. So I really thought that I was doing right by my body. But then when I look at my second pregnancy and I have Shackley in my life, I know now, oh my goodness, if I would have known, then what I know now. But I had no morning sickness with my second pregnancy. I had a strong daily nutrition routine. So I was, we'll talk about this later, but I had a life shake every morning for breakfast to start off my day. I took my daily vitamin. I took some supplements to help me relieve some of the swelling, if it was even going to come.
I came up here and played with
this second pregnancy.
I had I'm not going to do that anymore.
This time around, I had a toddler.
Nice.
I was still working full time, so I had a lot more on my plate. And then just the 2 pictures that are on the slide that I wanted to share. The first one was Karen's actually in that photo. Yay. We were in San Francisco, and it's a photo just after finishing walking Alcatraz. So if you've ever been to Alcatraz, there's lots of hills, there's lots of steps. And we walked about 10 miles in downtown San Francisco. And I had no swelling the next day. I had no swelling in my ankles. I felt great, ready to wake up and do it again. And then the second picture, I took my students on a field trip to Epcot at 36 weeks, and I delivered 5 days later. So
wow.
That was just, it was incredible. I mean, I was ready to keep going all the whole day. My parents and my kids wanted to go home, and I'm the pregnant one here. I'm the one that's supposed to be tired. But I felt great. And Josie came 3 weeks early in that pregnancy. And she came out 7 pounds, 10 ounces. So she was full term weight. And the doctor was actually ready to send us home after one night in the hospital. Mother's Day was the next day, and he wanted to get us out of there. Baby was healthy. Mom was healthy. We had one small complication that kept us there one more night, but we only stayed 2 days. And, she was 3 weeks early. So
wow, that's wonderful.
It's just a testament to, what nutrition and what supplementation can
do. Mm-hmm. And speaking of supplementation, Jen, I know you've got some things to show us. So there is a slide if people are interested in seeing what those look like. But you've got those live and in person. Is that right? Because the things that we do recommend, I mean, we really do use these products too. It's not just something that we throw off the top of our head. We believe in them so much that we trust them, as Jen and Karen were illustrating, with our bodies, with our babies, with our families. And so, yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to jump in really quick, and Jen's going to end up showing you just some of the products that we've fallen in love with. But I want to really focus on, because infertility seems to be at an all-time high, at least from the circle of people in my life. And so there is a lot of nutrition and supplementation that can affect that positively. And Barb had mentioned earlier something that I had never really thought about, especially with teenage girls, boys as well, because pregnancy, it takes a healthy mom and a healthy dad. And so a lot of times with our teenage girls, we don't think about the fact that they will be childbearing in 5 to 8 years. I'm not trying to give anyone a panic attack, but we really do have to think about that. And we know that teenage diets are not the greatest. And we also know that teenagers are very stubborn. So it takes a miracle sometimes to change that a bit. But that is kind of the importance of starting young, which is what we're going to focus on tonight, is really instilling that in our kids, that this becomes a lifestyle of wellness. And so with our teenage daughters, really focusing on proper nutrition. Obviously, a lot of water intake is very important as well. But when it comes to getting pregnant, some of the struggles can be related to different issues. One of them, which I'm sure you're aware of, would be obesity. So obesity increases the risk for miscarriage. It increases the risk for preeclampsia, gestational diabetes, and hypertension. And so it's important, this is where that nutrition piece comes in, that our diets are balanced. We have the right amount of protein. We're eliminating sugars and carbs as much as we can. We are eating as many vegetables and fruits as we can as well. We really want a clean, healthy, whole diet. And again, this can't start early enough. Unfortunately, the American diet doesn't have any of that. So we have to be very intentional about what it is we are putting in our bodies and really thinking that through. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is a vitamin that most of us don't even think about. We only think it comes from the sun, which it does, but it does help the body create sex hormones, and that is what affects ovulation. There was an interesting study done by the Yale School of Medicine that found a study of infertile women. 67% of these infertile women, 7% of them had normal vitamin D levels. Okay, so 67% were infertile. That's a high percentage. 7% of those had normal vitamin D levels. Vitamin D definitely affects our sex hormones. And so it's a very easy supplement to take. It's very inexpensive too, and very important. Zinc is another one. Zinc actually helps aid the balance of your estrogen and progesterone levels so that your reproductive system can fully function. So, for our bodies to produce eggs as women, for our sperm count as men, zinc really plays an active role in that. And then folic acid and omega-3s. Doctors really have found and drive home the importance of folic acid, especially in the last decade or so. And it's been shown to prevent birth defects. It also helps with morning sickness later. So this is something that, the earlier you can start taking it, the better, because as much as some people like to plan pregnancy, there are people on here that have stories where it wasn't planned, right? And then omega-3s and fatty acids, your EPAs and your DHAs, especially between pregnancies, are critical for your baby's brain and visual development. And 95% of Americans are deficient in omega-3 fatty acids. So with all of those vitamins, we're going to talk about more in a moment, but when it comes to fertility, conception, the female and the male, it is just as important equally for both of them.
Very good.
And I think, Karen, when you talk about the vitamin D and the zinc, and it's not just for prenatal care that we can take those vitamins, we can take those throughout our whole pregnancy and these whole 1,000 days, because, vitamin D is shown to help, postpartum depression. And then we have the zinc to help hair loss. There is nothing like a mom less than 6 months out losing her hair. I can't tell you how, I don't fight with my husband much, but that is something that just drives him crazy. It's like you could make little designs with the amount of hair that you lose. So when you do invest and when you do purchase the vitamins and the supplements, you can have them and use them throughout your entire prenatal and postnatal. So those
right. And I'm going to stop the share now so you could show them, Jen, what you're wanting to talk about. Yeah.
We talked, Karen just mentioned in the slide, it said, does the brand that you're taking really matter? And I think it's important to mention, and it's an older study, but I think a really relevant study, just to know that, in 2007, the FDA did an analysis of the lead content in 324 different prenatal and children's vitamins. And 99% of those vitamins contained some amount of lead. And I think it's important, and it's definitely relevant to note that when you are using a Shaklee vitamin, we do over 10,000 quality tests a year.
100,000.
100,000.
100,000.
When I say 10,000?
Yeah.
100,000.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Can't shortchange that.
No.
Just to ensure purity and potency, the high standards that you expect in these critical years of life. You don't expect, I read all the time, lead-free on cups that I'm buying my kids, on plastic plates that I might get as Christmas gifts, and toys. You're seeing so much of this lead-free. The last thing that you're thinking is that your prenatal might contain some amount of lead. It's just not something that you even consider. So I want to show you just a couple of the options that you have, and that one of the ones that I took was our Woman's Vitalizer. And it looks like this is the box. And oh, it's this, can I say sexy?
Sexy strip?
This fancy strip of vitamins here. And as a working mom, as a mom of a toddler, bags all over the house, these strips are so convenient. Oh my goodness, I have them in my pocket. Sometimes they come home in my pocket. Sometimes they go through the washer. But let me tell you, when they do, they look like this when they come out of the washer. So just so you know what this contains, it is your Optiflora probiotic. And I think we'll talk about this here shortly, but that's for your gut. 70 to 80% of your immune system starts from your gut. So we have that provided there in the Vitalizer. We have our B complex, our folic acid, like Karen was talking about already, so important. And our C, our multivitamin. This is our Vitaly, which is our daily multi. And then we also have our Carota E omegas. And then Karen had already mentioned the importance of omega-3s, our DHA and our EPA, that is so important. So this Vitalizer here with 12 clinical studies, we could go on and on about how amazing it is, but just it really is something that's convenient for us. I would forget to take my prenatal during my first round with Johnny, just because I had 4 different containers, sometimes 5, just the plastic bottles, and I was emptying them into my little daily usage plastic containers. This was so much more convenient to me. And I remembered to take them, and it was fun to take them. And you just throw them out and take them in the morning, take them in the evening. Just kind of depends on when your body is able to take them.
Well, and part of my Shackley story has everything to do with the Vitalizer strip, because my sob story with my pregnancy is that I felt crummy afterwards. And it was when I was introduced to the Vitalizer strip, I actually was quite ignorant and defiant in the beginning, because I was already taking all of those vitamins, and actually high quality ones, paying a lot of money for them. But I was still feeling the worst I'd ever felt. What was interesting was I switched over to Shackley, and as soon as I started taking the Vitalizer strip, within about 3 weeks, I had done a 180 turn in the way I felt. And so that is a testament to the Shackley difference that Jen referred to. Of all of these clinical studies we do, our botanical ingredients, all of that is tested beyond any standards that exist. And so you know that what you're putting in your body is not only safe, but it's working, and it's proven to be effective.
Absolutely. Good. Well, should we talk about the dads, ladies?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the men.
Yeah.
So guys are, as I mentioned, 50% of this, right, everyone? So the male is actually responsible for 40 to 50% of infertility. So a little bit less than that. But sometimes we ignore that fact. And so women, when we're trying to get pregnant, or when we are pregnant, so much of this, we have to remember our spouse or our partner, his health is just as important. More than 90% of male infertility cases are due to low sperm counts, poor sperm motility or quality. Others are anatomical problems, hormonal imbalances, and genetic defects. Obesity, again, increases the risk of hormonal imbalance. I mentioned that when I was talking about women's health. And there was a study that found a combination of folic acid and zinc supplements actually increased sperm count by 74% in men with fertility problems.
That's
so
amazing.
That combination, yes, of folic acid and zinc. So that leads me to a few vitamins for the men. Vitamin E is the first one that I want to mention, and that actually protects sperm DNA. It also protects egg DNA too. So it's healthy for the mom and the dad, but it protects the DNA, and it actually improves the sperm health. Vitamin C, which we're all familiar with, helps reduce miscarriage and chromosomal problems, but it also, this is a fun fact, keeps sperm from clumping. So there you go. So vitamin C, again, helps with the sperm function. Vitamin B12 is shown to improve the sperm quality and function as well. So if we look at all of those vitamins, and there are several more that just for the sake of time, I'm not going to dwell on, and we go back to the Vitalizer strip, okay, there we have a men's version as well. Okay. And one of the biggest differences between the men's and women's is that the men's does not contain iron because they are not menstruating. But for the most part, the vitamins and minerals are the same. And so we love, with Shaklee, we love to recommend this product just because it offers a foundational health for all adults, even if you're not trying to get pregnant or are pregnant. It is just a wonderful, wonderful way to get your body even keel. Is the best way to think of it.
And then here's what happens whenever your bodies are even keeled.
Oh dear, yes. Then your child comes. So this is my youngest. This is Silas. This is when he was 18 months old, and actually I picked this age for a very important reason. Because I mentioned to you at the beginning that we were not a Shaklee family when I had my children, and Silas in the winter. When he was 18 months old, had developed a virus. And it had created that gunk and that congestion, which I'm sure some of us are experiencing right now. But it was so bad that he couldn't breathe. And you know how it is when a baby doesn't breathe at night and they don't sleep, no one sleeps, right? So at first I just kind of wrote it off. Okay, it's a virus, let's wait it out. I'm not one to just go and get medication right away, or even necessarily visit the doctor. I like to, especially if it's viral. So I waited a week or two and it wasn't going away. So I went and visited his pediatrician, and his pediatrician confirmed, yep, it's a virus. There's nothing we can do. Just wait it out. And I actually appreciated that he wasn't trying to, give him medication right then and there. So we waited another 3 to 4 weeks, and it was stubborn. So we went back in, said, you know what, really, I could give you medication, but it's not going to help. It's viral. So, just go home, give him, we had steam in his room. We did everything we could do, steam showers and oils and vapor rub and all of that good stuff. Well, the third month, I just thought this is not good. And what ended up happening was it was such a developmental time in his life when it came to speech and language that he started, when he was forming his words, he started to sound almost as if he were deaf. And he had that sound in the back of your throat, like, like, I don't know if that came across with my microphone, but as a teacher and a mom, I started to panic. And so I thought, no, this is not good. And his hearing has to be affected. So we took him in again. They did a hearing test on him, the same pediatrician, and he failed his hearing test because of this virus. He was so congested. This poor kid could not hear. And so he thought, okay, we need to do something about this, of course. So they gave me a steroid nasal spray. I went home, gave it to him, and I kid you not, it was like Niagara Falls came out of his nose. Everything that had been stored up for 3 months came out, and he just started talking. I mean, it was crazy. Well, talk about mom guilt. I felt horrible. And so what had happened because of this, though, is that now he was delayed when it came to speech and language. It was such a critical time in a child's life to be learning language and hearing it enunciated correctly that now he was delayed. And so at the age of 2.5, this is when we were introduced to Shaklee. And so I started pumping him with all of the wonderful children's vitamins we have, which we'll focus on in a second. But at 2.5, we started to receive early intervention services. The government provides that for children up to the age of 3. And so he was receiving speech services and made big gains. There he is right there. And he just turned 4 in May, and his speech is delayed. And so he has made huge strides. I'm really proud of the progress he's made. But I say all of this because I think back to, had we really given him that strong nutritional foundation, we had given him a strong foundation because that's always been important. But had we given him the supplements and the vitamins that he needed, he probably would not have experienced this severe of a virus. My kids get sick still, but their illnesses last anywhere from 6 to 18 hours, when most kids in school, it'll last, 3 to 4 days. And so I'm just really proud of how strong my kids are. And again, we're going to keep working on the speech issue, but just something, again, looking back, had I introduced Shaklee, probably would have been able to prevent.
Wow. But now you know.
Now I know.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward.
Karen, I just want to piggyback off of, you talking about how quickly your kids get over colds. Johnny acquired a cold. Let's see, what is it? It's Thursday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, and it's completely out of his system. He had a little bit of a stuffy nose.
That's awesome.
I panicked, you do that whole mom panic. Oh my gosh, what do I have in my cabinet? And I think just as a Shackley mom, you have everything in your cabinet. So even when they say, I don't want to take anymore, you'll take it. You'll take it. You'll take it. And you don't feel guilty about it because you're not putting antibiotics down their throat. You're not putting, the Tylenols and the Motrins down their throat. I mean, there's a time and a place for them too. Don't get me wrong, but I think just as a Shackley mom, you just have a natural medicine cabinet, so you know how to use it, and your babies thrive because of it. So moving on to just nutrition for babies and nursing moms, and I think we probably need to speed it up here a little bit. But as far as babies go, I always get the question, well, I have a little baby. Like, can they take anything? Can I do anything? My baby's got a cold. What can I do for them? And there are plenty of answers for that. And we'll cover just one quickly, and that's the probiotic. And I think the probiotic is so important, not only important for the nursing mom, but important for the baby too. Oh, there Karen goes.
Right there.
Karen, open that up and show everyone how tiny it is.
Don't lose it.
Oh, you guys, it is so tiny. And the beautiful thing about this probiotic is that it's triple encapsulated. So it has this hard coating on it, which we can swallow easily as adults, a little tougher for the babies to swallow. So what we do is we soak that probiotic and we soften it. And we can even take that hard outer coating off of it, and we can get it into our babies. And we want that in their digestive system. Probiotics, and we could probably sit here and do an hour on the benefits of probiotics, but everything from eczema to constipation, diarrhea, food allergies, sensitivities, there's so much that you can do for your little ones with a probiotic. So the Optiflora probiotic that Karen had just showed you is one. Alfalfa for congestion. I always feel like the most popular item.
Keep talking. I'll show it.
Okay, good. Show it.
I'll be your Vanna.
Yeah. Love alfalfa for the nursing mom too. Talk about an increase in breast milk supply. I'm a nursing mom right now. So anything I can do to keep me hydrated, which we have a Shackley Performance product, which Karen, you got that?
Got it.
Look at that. Hydrates better than water. This is our endurance electrolyte drink. So plenty of electrolytes. You need to stay hydrated, along in conjunction with the alfalfa that Karen had already showed. And couple other things. Let me think. The alfalfa as well for the kids. So when the babies are congested, that alfalfa can be crushed up tiny. And for your toddlers, it can go in a smoothie. It can go in their applesauce. It can go in their yogurt. And the Life Shake. Oh, look, we have matching Life Shake.
Pumpkin spice.
And kids love that because they get to have milkshakes. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, and I think both of our families are Life Shake addicts at the moment. So I know that it's an easy thing for a toddler to take.
Yes, to get their omegas and all the vitamins they need for the day, and protein. How hard is it to get protein in your children in the morning, right? That's the easiest way to do it. I love it.
Right.
And then the vitalizer, again, just, for energy and for keeping everything in check. We take that throughout the whole 1,000 days and forever. Because our vitalizer is not just a prenatal, but it is also our multivitamin, and it is our daily strip for the rest of our lives.
So I was just going to add really quick. I was one of those moms who bought organic gummy vitamins for my kids, and I researched, and I got the greatest and best and most expensive. Again, as soon as I was introduced to our Incredivites, I was shocked really what was in those gummy vitamins. So moms, just all I have to say is do your research, read those labels, and really understand the ingredients that go into them, because you want to pump your kids full of nutritious vitamins and minerals that they need.
Right.
And then
sometimes they do get sick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course they do. And the other thing I want to say about the probiotic too is we can attest that this was our way our kids learned how to swallow vitamins. It's the tiniest thing. They can swallow it simply. And by doing that and learning it, now I have no problem giving my kids alfalfa. Defend and Resist, which you see on the screen, is whenever that tickle comes on, this nasty virus that's going around right now, my kids have been taking this daily. It just protects them. It has echinacea in it. We have chewable vitamin C, which is delicious. My children think it's candy. I haven't told them otherwise. There it is right there. And then our vitalized immunity. This is like, if you're familiar with airborne or emergency, I actually have a little demo for you right here. So you just drop it in your drink, right? And the kids love to watch it fizz, and it turns into a really sweet orange drink. The beauty of this is it's all natural, naturally flavored, and it's the equivalent of 16 oranges, the vitamin C in 16 oranges. So this is a good little kick, again, when your kids start to get the sniffles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Very
and
good.
Did we touch on the kids, just the kids kit that we have that is unbelievably amazing? And the 3 products that come with that is the chewable vitamin C, like Karen had mentioned, the Mighty Smarts, which is our DHA chews for kids. It tastes like a Starburst. Mm-hmm. And then, like Karen had mentioned, the Incredivites. And as a nursing mom, it makes me really happy that lactoferrin, which is the active ingredient to help build the immune system of our babies, is actually one of the ingredients in the Incredivites.
That's right.
All right. So just lifestyle. Hopefully you're getting the sense that this is a part of our family's lifestyle. And so Jen just added some photos here to show that you can see Johnny drinking his smoothie, pumped full of protein. My kids are making their smoothies. I make them an active part of that, knowing the ingredients that are going into it. We just talk about the benefits, health benefits, because they're at that age. And then if you want to keep going, Francine, clicking through the slides, some of just moms, we have some practical steps for you too to help you with your kids. So one little tip is these Snackies cups. These are really cool because you can put your child's, this is my daughter Shopkins one, you can put your daughter's smoothie in it, and then in the lid, you put their vitamins. And so whatever they need to take, they can take it with them in the car. You can just put it at the breakfast table. I also like to use these silicone muffin liners. My son has a blue one. My daughter has a pink one. And this is what I put their vitamins in. You can see it in that photo too. Jen packed Johnny's lunch, which, Jen, kudos. It's an amazing lunch.
Oh, so fun.
But you can see she put the vitamins right there in that silicone liner, which is awesome.
Yeah. And, I've actually upgraded to now where the pistachios are. That's where the vitamins go in. So his teacher, actually, who is a friend of mine, makes sure that he takes his vitamins every day at lunch. And so I think just, that she's an advocate too, to helping make sure that he takes his vitamins, and I never get any pushback. It's, I want to take them. I know why I take them, and I want to take them. And it's just a part of his daily routine. And it's part of, the habits that we have in the house.
Starting them young. Yes. There was a question, what kind of cup? This is a Snackies. So it's SNACKEEZ. That's the brand name, but I'm sure there are knockoffs too. They're about $7 and you can get them in different sizes. My son has a Yoda one. So. All right. So we're going to wrap up here. Moms, this isn't just about kids, although that's our lives, right? Everything's about the kids. We just want to make sure we really focus on you. And so, cleaners, we were just going to quickly mention, go ahead, Jen, just the important, I'm sorry, I jumped over that one.
These are cleaners. Oh my goodness, these are some of our most popular products. This is actually where I was introduced to Shaklee with the cleaners, because I was looking for something that was non-toxic, that was economical, that was affordable for me to use in my home while I had a little baby crawling on the floor. It was really scary what was in all of the cleaning products. Even now when I see a commercial of like the mom spraying Lysol all over the carpet, all I can say is like, chemicals, chemicals, chemicals. But I think that the fact that we have these in conjunction with vitamins, and we're just looking at this whole healthy living lifestyle as one big giant umbrella under having a healthy pregnancy. So we're not going to talk much here though, because coming up, you'll see in the next couple slides here, our week's health.
Yeah. So, and our very own Barb Lagoni's quote is, "I never experienced rage until I became a parent," which I love. So we just want moms to know that we have a lot of supplement options out there. One of the most important being B complex, which is wonderful for mood and energy. And if you're a mom, you are more than likely depleted in B vitamins because stress and lack of sleep and nutrition, all of that factors into that. So another amazing product is Stress Relief Complex. But again, whoever invited you to this chat tonight, we would love the opportunity to just sit down with you and ask more questions because we can cater a plan that just meets all of your needs. So please, please, please reach out to whoever invited you tonight. So we're going to go ahead and close. We just want to mention to you the business opportunity that comes with Shackley, something that Jen and I and Francine have found has been a great blessing in our lives. And so one of the things we want you to really see is that the Shackley business is a family business. And so we integrate this into our daily lives. Our kids help us stuff envelopes when we're sending out newsletters. They hear us making phone calls, but I think most importantly, they see that we are a family of wellness. And that has been the greatest joy of being a Shackley distributor. There are a lot of benefits. We have a range of incomes depending on the amount of time you're able to focus. And that's the beauty. You get to choose that. You get to be your own boss. You can receive tax deductions and benefits, which is amazing. You get to teach others about wellness and prevention. This is amazing for me to be able to do this tonight and to share this with you. And I also get the opportunity to serve my loved ones, my friends, my family. I get what I just mentioned. I get to ask questions and help them navigate some of the struggles they're experiencing when it comes to health and wellness. But I think I want to just reach out to moms especially. And I think as moms, we are so used to being selfless. And that's just who we are. It's innate, right? And sometimes we feel like either we're lacking an identity, as a woman, or maybe we're not contributing to our family's finances. Our spouse is working extra hours to be able to pay for those fees that come with preschool or extracurricular activities or sports. There's nothing more empowering than being able to bring income into the home and to be able to be the person or the source for that. And the beauty of Shackley is you can actually do that without having to leave your home. Most jobs, you're going to have to work certain set hours. You're going to have a boss. This allows you to work, while the children are asleep, or while they're at school, or for an hour while you have them watching their favorite cartoon, whatever it might be, this actually allows you that flexibility. And so it's a very empowering profession that I've just found a lot of joy in. And Jen and I are full-time teachers. We have little children. Obviously, our time is very limited. So if we can fit it into the nooks and crannies of our day, anyone can. So again, we would love a chance to share that with you. And then one of the other added bonuses is just the built-in community. The people that I have met in the Shackley family are forever my family and are a joy in my life. And so they empower me, they encourage me, they challenge me, they refine me. And so I wouldn't have known Francine and Jen and Barb had I not come into this family. So just if you have any questions or are the least bit curious, we would really, really love a chance to share a little bit more with you about that.
Next week, our topic that Karen and Jen mentioned is the importance of creating a non-toxic environment for our families, for our children, for our pets, for our planet. And so next week, we're going to talk about the Shackley cleaning line, which is all biodegradable, non-toxic, and inexpensive. We figure the average family saves easily $200 a year by switching to them. But we'll give you some great hints on how to use the products, and you'll just love it. And that's going to be a really fun session. We'll do a few. Richard is going to be one of the leaders next week, and we'll do some experiments too. So if there aren't any other questions, thank you. Gosh, you guys did a lot of research for tonight's session, and I love the way you wove in your stories to help other moms and parents and families. That time, that 1,000 days, that conception, then pregnancy, then the first 2 years, you add it all up, and there's the 1,000 days, and it's so important for us to be reminded what an enormous impact we can make on the lifelong health of our kids. So thank you for sharing your stories, and thanks for all the great information. I think we answered most of the questions. There was just one, Jen, if I could ask you, somebody asked, in your first slide, you were going through some of the statistics of how it impacts a child, those first 1,000 days. And could you just repeat a couple of them? Someone had asked for that.
The figures that support the right nutrition for the first 1,000 days, 10 times more likely to overcome life-threatening childhood diseases, complete 4.6 more grades of school, and then to make 21% more in adult wages. That was interesting. And then are more likely as adults to have healthier families. And
21% more? Wow.
More in adult wages.
Income. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. And then you faded out just a little bit that it was completing grades of school. What was that one?
4.6 more grades of school.
That's really amazing. Yeah. And it was interesting. One of my daughter's friends had also had taken a course about the importance of preschool and start introducing children to educational concepts early on. And the point that that she was taught in this course was that kids who don't get that beginning, they're not either not healthy enough, or there isn't enough income to do it. It's not made available to them. Never catch up. And so these things that we're talking about really impact the next generation of our country. It's very important. So thank you. You guys did an absolutely fabulous job tonight. This was terrific. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the evening. Tuck your kids in bed and give them an extra vitamin before they
there you go.
See you next week for a healthy home and saving $200 a year on your cleaning products.
At least.
See you then. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.